Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. As you can see, I'm joined with a very special guest today, none other than JELSON. How's it going, my man?
It's been great, man. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls. Now, I just went to the game on December 31st when DeRozan hit that game winner. So I'll have a lot to say there. Then he followed it up with another one against the Wizards. But let's just talk about the Bulls in general. So right now they're on an eight-game winning streak. DeMar DeRozan was Player of the Week. Some people thought he should have been Player of the Month, but also Joel Embiid played pretty well. Um, but yeah, like the Bulls, they've been the hottest team in the NBA right now. Obviously, they're my favorite team. So I guess I'll ask you, like, what have you been seeing recently from the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I want to bring this up. So I watch a lot of the NBA, but I'm not going to be one of those people that's like lie and say that I watch every game that goes on every night. But when my Timberwolves aren't playing, I'm watching the Bulls. It's my first team that I go to because I enjoy pretty much everyone on that team. DeMar DeRozan's playing out of his mind this year. In my opinion, should be in the MVP conversation. I don't know what a lot of people think. Zach LaVine's one of my Timberwolf people, so I got to watch him. And that team as a whole is fun. Alex Russo is playing pretty well. And that team, it felt like coming into the season, it was put together well, but there's question marks here and there. But it's all came together as a collective whole and proven people wrong that they are one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and I think now, like, we got to start taking them more seriously. I know at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, people were like, oh, like, they won, like, the first four games all against trash teams. Everyone was like, oh, it's just the trash teams, the trash schedule. Oh, like, the Rosen's the worst signing ever. That's what they called him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Uh, but, I mean, now it's like you can't really say that. I mean, like, obviously, this is going to be a team that's going to be at least above the play in. Like, even if they went on some, like, massive drought. They should be a top six seed when it's all said and done. It looks like they're going to have home court advantage at least in the first round. At this rate, and maybe like who knows throughout the whole East because they're the first seed right now. But like you said, like DeRozan, Levine, I think those guys complement each other really well. We also did a lot of this winning streak without Lonzo Ball, and now he just finally got back, so that's also pretty impressive. Caruso has been huge for us, and now he's going to miss like probably a week or two, which sucks. But I mean, the fact that like we're doing all this, and we were also the team that probably got hit with the COVID stuff first, is pretty impressive. Guys like Javante Green, Patrick Williams, like they're not even playing right now. So I mean, I think it says a lot. Like when we've had so many guys missing, and yet we're still finding ways to win. Uh, and yeah, like it's just pretty cool to see. Like, do you think that this is maybe? I know a lot of people have been saying now. Like I think Matt Barnes is like they're my favorite to go to the finals, but what do you think is realistic for the Bulls right now?
Well, in my opinion, I think the East is wide open. And I can definitely see the Bulls being in the finals. I'm not going to say anything. It's still relatively early in the season. Especially, you really start to find out what teams are going to be the finals bound teams closer towards the end, maybe the last 15 games of the season. So I think personally they could make the finals. And if they're not making the finals, they're a heavy competitor in the playoffs, and they're not going to be one of those teams that's just one and done.
Yeah, I think as of right now, I think maybe the perception is kind of similar to like the 2011 team, like with the Bulls, like when Rose was MVP, because like even though we were great against a lot of the top teams in the East, like they didn't really give us much of a chance going in against the big three Heat and the big four Celtics and stuff like that. Like we played really well, and we even played well against the Nets, but like teams like the Sixers and the Heat, like I believe they beat us multiple times so far this year. We haven't even played the Bucks, so who knows how that's going to go? Like, and that might be a little concerning, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I still like our chances, especially since we're the top record in the Eastern Conference. So, like, obviously, I got to feel good about that. And hopefully, they can keep proving people wrong throughout the season. You never know what could happen. Like the Phoenix Suns last year made the finals, and pretty much nobody gave them a chance to do so. So I mean, there's always that room for a little surprise. Um, but yeah, we could move on. We could talk about someone who just had another crazy game against my Chicago Bulls, and that is Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. This dude just won Rookie of the Month. He was averaging about 25 and 3 for the month. Uh, and yeah, the Magic haven't been great, but over the past, I believe the most recent rookie ladder, he jumped from fifth to first on NBA.com. So I guess I'll just ask you, like, do you think it's realistic that Franz Wagner could be the rookie of the year, and what do you think about him, like, moving forward?
So that's a great question, though. Is it realistic for him to win Rookie of the Year? I don't know. I could definitely see it happening, but especially with guys that are typically bigger names like Evan Mobley, and I personally, Evan Mobley is my Rookie of the Year so far. So I think Franz Wagner could make a case. I mean, he is making a case, right, to be Rookie of the Year. But does he make enough of a case for to actually get the voters' votes, right?
Right.
He's been playing outstanding, as you said, Rookie of the Month, and right there shows that he's getting a little more media attention that he deserves. And averaging 16 points on the year, coming into the draft, they looked at him as a role player. Maybe he could become an all-star, like maybe once in his career type of player. And I think that's because of how he played at Michigan. They used him as a spot up shooter and more just like a, if you need someone to bail you out, pass it to him and he's going to shoot the ball type of player. So, but coming in now, he's showing that he is the real deal and he definitely deserves to be in that conversation for Rookie of the Year. And it is a difficult question to answer of, is he going to be Rookie of the Year? I could see it happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also has to do with like the fact that his brother was already in the NBA, and like people were like, this guy's like okay, but he's like not like a superstar or anything like that.
Yeah.
So maybe like that kind of was some like fool's gold in a sense. But I don't know, like he's really been like kind of the real rookie for them. I know everyone was hyped when they got Jalen Suggs at 5 because I think a lot of people thought the Raptors were going to pick him at 4. Uh, but he's Franz Wagner's kind of been that rookie for them. I think it is a good chance that he can win Rookie of the Year, and it doesn't really ever dictate like the totality of someone's career. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon's a great player, but we saw him win Rookie of the Year over Joel Embiid because he
Yeah.
just played more games. And I also don't think that like team record necessarily. I don't think it has a huge impact on Rookie of the Year. I mean, as a Timberwolves
Yeah.
fan, I'm sure you even remember like when Andrew Wiggins won it. I think you guys had like the worst record in the league, but
Yeah.
he was just playing better than any other rookie at that time, so he won the award. I think that is probably going to be a key factor. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. You like you said, you got Mobley, Kate Cunningham's played great lately, Scotty Barnes as well. So I think probably those guys right there are going to be like the top four. I know guys like Chris Duarte were up there. They've kind of cooled off a little bit. So it'll probably be somewhat between those four. It's probably going to be a really close race. I feel like a lot of the races are going to be close this year, like just like the MVP and stuff like that too. But I don't know, like it should be interesting to see. And yeah, if he keeps playing like this, like who knows? I believe he had the third highest rookie scoring game too. I think only behind like 2 games from Shaq. So like
Yeah.
that's already like an elite class. So Shaquille O'Neal, who's like probably a top 10 player ever. So yeah, I mean if he keeps it up, like who knows what the ceiling could be for him? I think it's definitely more than like what people projected in being maybe a one-time All-Star or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else to add about Franz Wagner?
Well, so I was talking to a couple other people, and we were talking about how his success doesn't dictate what Jalen Suggs can do, and they're going to be able to grow together and work off of each other, which is extremely nice for the Magic, especially trying to build a young core. And you're not put in one of those situations like the Kings are in right now. Are you going to trade De'Aaron Fox? You could trade Tyrese Halliburton, um, which that's a whole different story. But Jalen Suggs, he's a scoring guard. What do you expect? He's struggling, but how many scoring guards come into the league and just are really like extremely good. Like look at Trae Young. He struggled in the first half of his rookie year. Anthony Edwards, same way. And I think if Jalen Suggs, which it's not a question to me if, it's when he decides to produce at a higher level, I think this team is it's going to be a scary team. And, give it maybe 5 years down the line, I could see them being a heavy playoff contender.
Yeah, I think their core is definitely underrated. Like we talked about Suggs and Wagner, but like they still got guys like Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac. I'm really high on Markel Fultz. Like when he gets back, I think he'll be really huge for them. And then also guys like Mo Bamba have started playing really well recently. So I don't know, like they're an interesting team for sure, and we're gonna have to see where they go in the next few years. But speaking of teams that maybe the direction in the next few years could be a little uh, questionable, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. And recently, they just suspended Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. For a game. I believe it was against the Sixers, is the game they got suspended against. But I think it was as a result of what happened after or during like the Denver Nuggets game before that. So they both got into an altercation with the assistant coach, John Lucas, and as a result, Christian Wood he only played like 8 minutes the next game, and he didn't even start. And then Kevin Porter Jr. He basically got benched as well, and then he ended up leaving the arena at halftime of that game. So I mean, like, what do you think of this like player coach dispute, and what could come from it maybe in the next few weeks? Do you think maybe it has an effect like with the NBA trade deadline looming? But what do you think?
So personally, I don't think either of these players are getting traded. I don't think they'd be out of their mind to trade KPJ. And yeah, he blows up here and there, but it's kind of like Antonio Brown, where I'm not comparing the two in the sense like Antonio Brown is kind of crazy, but you know what I mean. Antonio Brown, he's so good that he can maintain a job. I know he's just recently cut, but he's gonna get a job somewhere in the NFL, and I think KPJ is the same way. And whether or not he has his blowups here and there, and we can expect that from him, which is not a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but he's such a good young player that, and as I said, he's young, so he's going to learn from things, and that's the expectation that he's going to learn. And it's also a question of coaching staff too. Does the coaching staff overstep the boundaries? Do they bring up things that shouldn't be brought up? And that's why KPJ and Christian Wood are, now suspended. So is the coaching staff really going to be there for the future? Probably not. But these players are more than likely going to be there for their future. That's my
Yeah,
thought process on that.
yeah, and I mean even like Antonio Brown, it didn't even take 24 hours before he got picked up again. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, like I think it's interesting because with Christian Wood, I mean, I don't really know if he'll be there forever. I have like like a weird feeling that he's gonna end up getting traded before like they ultimately like rise back up because I feel like he's a little
Yeah.
bit older than some of these guys like KPJ and Jalen Green and Sengun and stuff. But I don't know. Like we'll have to see with that. I mean, obviously, right now, like he's playing great, so and they signed him to a pretty friendly contract. So if they were going to trade him, maybe now wouldn't be a terrible time. They're not obviously competing or anything like that either. Uh, but yeah, like it could work in that sense. And then for KPJ, I mean, like you said, like he's pretty young, so there's still like a lot to kind of build off there. I think the one thing is though, like obviously this isn't his first team. He started with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the big reason why they traded him is because he had that big locker room dispute. And now it's like something that's rising up again. So it's like maybe is this something that you got to look for like in the future or something like that? And if so, like there's been front offices that have just kind of cut ties with those people. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think, like you said, I don't think KPJ gets traded. I feel like there might be a chance for Christian Wood. I think that they were interested in like negotiations early on in the year when they were on that like 15 game losing streak. Then they won seven straight. Now I think they've lost seven more straight. So like they're kind of like up and down. Like their whole season's like a big teeter totter. But I don't know. Like we'll see. And if this kind of carries over into the trade deadline, like I could very well see Christian Wood getting traded, but I think the one thing that's pretty obvious is that like look, the Rockets, they're already not a good team. And their culture, like with these guys right now, it's definitely not great. And I think, like you said, like this coaching staff, like, yeah, John Lucas, he has a history like with the Houston Rockets, um, and a history both as a player and a coach in the NBA. But as a result, I don't think that him or Steven Silas or some of these other guys will probably be there when the Rockets get back to the status they were at with like I don't know, like Hakeem or James Harden or Yao Ming and like some of those guys, like when they had them, uh, it's just tough to predict because I mean they're not good this year. They're probably not going to be good next year or the year after that. So I don't know, like um, I don't know if you have anything to add there, but that's just like what I think about the Rockets right now.
Um, just the last thing I want to add is the whole Christian Wood thing reminds me a lot of the Jeremy Grant situation in Detroit.
Yeah,
And it just feels like, yeah, they're young enough to kind of be mentors to that team and also provide. But are you going to trade them? And also, if you do trade them, what are you going to get for them? But that's my take on that.
and I also think like see Christian Wood is probably deemed the best player right now on the Houston Rockets, just as Jeremy Grant is with the Pistons, or at least the second best, like with Cade Cunningham. But like those guys, I don't think they're capable of being the best or second best guy on like a series contending team.
Yeah.
Like they can show out for sure, like when they get the opportunity, but I think of it like Steven Jackson in a way. Like he was great on the Bobcats, but then like when he was on the Spurs and the Pacers, like he was kind of just like a role player. So I don't know, like that's kind of like where I stand with I guess both those situations. But let's move on and let's talk about something else. Not totally involved with the NBA, but somewhat to a degree. Um, Becky Hammon obviously used to play in the WNBA. She signed a 5-year deal to coach the Las Vegas Aces, which is actually the modern day name of the franchise she played for in the WNBA, the San Antonio Silver Stars. And it's interesting because like she used to be obviously we know her as like an assistant coach for Popovich over the past several years. People thought she was going to become the first female head coach in NBA history, and obviously now taking a 5-year deal, it's at least going to be put on hold until probably several years down the line, or someone else comes and takes that name, that title. So I guess what do you think of the whole situation as a somewhat loss for the NBA and a somewhat addition for the WNBA?
First of all, congratulations to Becky. Huge move there, signing that contract. 5 years is a long time. And, well, having the opportunity to be a coach anywhere is a blessing. And for her to have the opportunity to coach in the NBA is a big experience. And people praising her that she could be the first NBA woman head coach, that's massive. And as you said, I could see her becoming a head coach, and whether it's after this contract or if she ends up getting released by the team and comes to NBA, I could see either one of those situations happening. And she's been, well, the Spurs aren't just, a casual, terrible team, right? She added a lot to that team, and she had talked about how she brought a lot of WNBA plays over to the NBA and how it worked a lot of the time. And it brought a surprise of, it brought a surprise element to the whole coaching gig. And that's something I did enjoy from the Spurs because you watch them and it feels like they don't play like a lot of other teams, whether it's for better or for worse. It felt like they brought up some plays that I had never seen before that worked extremely well.
Yeah, I think she definitely had a huge part in the Spurs like success. Especially since like people probably thought it was all gonna die like once Tim Duncan retired. But obviously they still had many years after that. I'd say probably like 3, maybe 4, like where they were still relatively competitive. And I mean they still are. Like they're not a team that just like rolls over in any given night. But obviously like they're not the same Spurs that we once remembered. And I think that you know for like the Spurs like people thought like okay like she could just hold it out and she could like maybe take over for Greg Popovich, which I think is kind of fair to say. I mean, obviously the recent news with Steve Kerr is going to be like the 2024 Olympic coach, and then guys like Spoelstra and Monty Williams and those guys are going to be like the assistants. So like, what does that tell me? That tells me that Greg Popovich is stepping down from that role. So probably sometime by 2024, he'll probably step down as the San Antonio Spurs head coach. That's kind of like the vibe I was getting from that. So it's like, that's about 2 years away. Maybe by then, like, Becky Hammon will be the head coach that takes over for the Spurs. But I think at the same time, like, she probably felt a little disrespected because, she was the first female coach to lead a summer league championship many years ago, and then ever since then, like, she's been kind of like the lead assistant, and then like I think maybe one of the biggest moments that she might have felt disrespected was the one year when Tim Duncan came in as an assistant. And then like, do you remember that game when Popovich couldn't coach and he was like the interim head coach? Like, and everyone thought like, why isn't it Becky Hammon? She's been there for like several years. So I think maybe that also, like, those kind of instances maybe played a little bit of a role in her deciding to leave. Um, and yeah, like, she probably would have made more as or an NBA head coach if she would have like stuck it out and maybe she got that job. But at the same time, like, I guess you really never know, and it still is like a record-breaking contract she signed with the WNBA. So I guess like props to her for that. But it's kind of just like like almost like a what if, like, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. I mean, as you said though, 5 years from now, there might be an opportunity with the Spurs to be a head coach. So once her contract expires, who knows? She may come back to the NBA and become that head coach that everyone expected her to become.
I think that's probably the most underrated part about it too. Is that like, if she would have signed maybe like a 2-year deal, people would be like, oh, she's just gonna go there. Maybe she'll come back with the Spurs or something. But like 5 years is a long time, and I mean, we'll see if Popovich is coaching by then. Like, you never know. They could find a new Greg Popovich in one of their like assistants now. By then, and maybe it's like, okay, like, we're not gonna hire a new coach. Like, we kind of already got it settled, but I don't know. It's just something interesting to talk about, and yeah, it's, I guess, a W for the WNBA, quite literally. But you want to move on to the NBA trivia segment now?
Oh God, here we
this
go.
this is where the fun starts. Um, but I'll read the rules so that you're aware and that anyone new watching is aware. So basically, I'm going to give you 5 questions, and each question has 5 possible hints. And on each question, you get 3 guesses. Now, if you get a correct guess and less hints, that gets you more points. So, say you use 1 hint, you get it right, 5 points. 2 hints, 4 points. And it keeps going from there. And along with the 3 guesses, you can also use 2 skips on each set of questions. 25 possible points, but at the very end, I have one final impossible level question. That one has no hints. It's just like a question, random. You get that one right and the other 25 points, then you would get 30 points. And then you'd probably be a legend because I think the highest score right now is 12. So if you get 30, I mean, you're just cooking. But
All right.
are you ready to hop into it?
Let's preface this for the viewers. I'm expecting zero. I'm expecting to get none. So let's go. Let's
If
go.
you get any, then you're killing it. But here we go. Let's start with the first question, the first hint. Now, again, each question you get 3 guesses and 2 skips you can use. But if you get this one right on this hint, you get 5 points. Now, this is a current NBA player that was the youngest player ever to score 40 or more points in a season opener.
Oh, that. Okay, the Couture. That's like ESPN type stat. Oh God.
The 5 point hints are always the hardest.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, let me skip that. Let me skip that. Let's get a new hint. Let's get a new
Okay.
hint.
So also, along with this, the second hint, 4 pointer, his official first name is Demetrius. And also, like, he's a current player, youngest ever to score 40 or more in a season opener.
Okay, I have no idea. That okay. Let's preface this, all right? All right. I didn't know anyone in the NBA was named that. So
Well, it's because he goes by a different name. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
Um,
if I said his like actual name right now, like you'd be like, oh yeah. But like
yeah, yeah.
the Demetrius part is where where it gets tricky.
Okay, so youngest player to score 40 points in a season opener.
Yes, and he's a current player
So,
as well.
okay, so there's a lot of people that have scored 40 points, but in a season opener alone, and then to be the youngest. Okay.
Yes.
Um, let me skip that. Let me get another hint. Let me get another hint.
Okay. So the 3 point hint is his team was a part of the play-in tournament last year.
Okay, let me think. Bro, I don't even know who was in the play-in last year. Oh my god. I'm a casual, bro. I'm gonna throw a guess out there. I'm gonna throw a guess out there, okay?
All right. All right.
And I've I don't know if this person is named. What did you say? What was the
Demetrius.
name?
Demetrius is the name.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a random person. I'm probably gonna sound so stupid. All right, and I don't know who was in the plan. I forget. Um, 40 points in a season opener.
Correct. And the youngest
Can
ever.
I ask? Can I ask a question about a team being in the plan?
Uh, let's hear your question, and we'll see if I can answer.
Was Portland in the plan?
Last year, they were
Yeah,
not. No.
I have no idea who's in the plan. Um,
Portland was in it the year before, like when it was just that one game
yeah.
against Memphis, but they weren't in it last year, no.
Okay. So okay, no. So I was gonna say the number one. I'm just gonna guess, and I know this team wasn't the plan, so it's gonna be wrong. Carmelo Anthony.
It is not Carmelo Anthony. So that's only your first strike. You get three on each question, so you're doing fine. I'm gonna give you the 2 point hint right now. This guy won Rookie of the Year in the 2019-2020 NBA season.
2019, 2020 was. Oh my. Okay, hold on. Let me get my rookie of the year straight. Okay. So there was okay.
2019-2020, and he was a part of the play-in last year.
Bro, I remember the 2018 draft and I remember the 2020 draft. I do not remember the 2019 draft. Okay. This is awful. I'm choking. I'm choking. Rookie of the year. Oh no. I I don't know. I don't know.
You can throw out a guess here because you've already used your two skips. So
Okay. Um
he's
I don't know
definitely
who was
young.
drafted that year. I forget, bro. Donovan Mitchell. I know he wasn't drafted in that year, but I'm just gonna throw it a guess.
It is not Donovan Mitchell. So that's strike number two. I'm gonna give you the final hint here. You have a chance to get it. This is more of a recent hint. This guy set his new career high for 3 point shots made in a game against the Lakers last week.
Well, that doesn't help. Oh my god. How do I not know who the rookie of the year is? This is awful. Like this, I'm done doing NBA YouTube after this. Oh my gosh.
And I'll give you another hint. He scored over 40 points in that game as well. That game against the
Of course he
Lakers.
did. um 20 okay, so 2020 that was LaMelo and Ant. Okay. Who the heck was it? This is such an odd like once you told me it was the rookie of the year, I'm like, okay, I know who this is. And then I realized I don't know that draft at all.
Well, he won it. He won Rookie of the Year in the year where the bubble existed, that season. So
Yeah.
I guess try to think about who was
So
the top rookie that year.
that was the Tyler Hero year. That was the year he was drafted.
Yes, it was that year, but
That's awful that I know that he was drafted. That's awful. Okay, I that's awful.
you got to think about who
Um,
else was in the class.
exactly, man. Okay. I hate myself for this. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you
Was it a
can.
guard?
Ooh, don't know if I can give away that information. Um, you know what? I normally I wouldn't do this, but since it's the first question, I'll say yes. He was a guard.
He was a guard. Okay, dude, I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
You could throw out a guess if you want. You still have another guess remaining.
Um, oh God. Who was drafted? Okay, Tyler Hero. Boom.
Is that the guess, Tyler Hero?
Yes, we're doing that. You're gonna tell me, and I will know immediately.
It is not Tyler Hero. You and I both know that. The correct answer is actually Ja Morant.
Wait, hold on. Actually, let me tell you something right now.
Go ahead.
I forgot that he was drafted that year. I looked. I was thinking, okay, Zion and Ja. All right, those, and I know Ja won Rookie of the Year, but I thought he was drafted the year before that, even though I knew that he wasn't.
Yeah, that's tough. Uh, yeah, the Demetrius hint probably is the most confusing. That could have been the 5 point hint, honestly. Um,
Dude, that Demetrius one that's the one that really flip flopped. I'm like, bro, no, Ja ain't Demetrius, bro. That's not him.
his official name is Demetrius Jamel Morant, so he goes by
Okay.
Ja for short. But all right, so that's a tough one. But I think you could very well get points on this next one here.
All
Uh,
right, all right. I don't think so, but let's go.
so here we go. The second hint or second question, first hint. This is a current NBA coach who is the nephew of former NBA player Jim Brewer.
Okay, repeat that question.
Okay, so he's a current NBA coach, and he's the nephew of former NBA player Jim Brewer.
So I'm assuming they have the same last name.
Uh,
Um,
maybe not.
that makes me think that they don't have the same last name. Okay. All right. Skip. Let me get the next one.
Okay. He became the 10th coach in NBA history to reach 1,000 wins, and he's also a current NBA head coach. Uh, but yeah.
Okay, reread the first part of the question.
Uh, you mean the first hint or the second hint?
The second hint, but like the first part of it, like
Okay, he
about
became
the 1,000 wins.
he became the 10th coach in NBA history to reach 1,000 wins, and he did so pretty recently as well.
All right, let me skip that one. Let me skip that one.
Okay, so the third hint is this guy also used to play in the NBA, where he was an All Star in 1988.
Oh God, yeah, bro. Okay, that's like 15 years before I was born. Okay. Um,
But it does tell you that he was a former player as well, and then he
true,
also is a
true,
current coach.
exactly. Bro, I'm getting my NFL and NBA confusers players mixed. All right, so I'm gonna say somebody and let me know if I'm saying an NFL player. Okay, Corey Brewer.
Corey Brewer. I mean
Yeah,
that there is a Corey Brewer that played in NBA history. Are you gonna guess him?
but he didn't play that long ago,
That is true. He didn't play
so
that long ago.
it's not him. But I'm assuming it's someone related to him. Is this true? Can you tell me that?
I don't know the details on that, but I'm gonna go on a wild guess and say he's not related to Corey Brewer.
Okay. Yo, all right. I'm saying just because I need a guess, just so I can get another hint, I'm saying Corey Brewer.
It is not Corey Brewer. Um, so that's the first strike. Remember, it's also a current NBA head coach. So think of all the
Yes.
current coaches out there. Former player, now a coach. And here's the fourth hint. As a head coach, he has blown a 3-1 lead more than anyone else in NBA history.
Oh God. That's something to live up to, man. So who's lost 3-1 leads recently?
This guy he gets slandered a lot. He's seen as a
Is
choker.
it Ty Lue?
Are you guessing Tyronn Lue?
Yeah.
It is not Tyronn Lue. Uh,
Bro, what?
so that's the second strike. Here is the final hint. I think you could be able to get it on this one. His son currently plays in the NBA.
Hey, his son currently plays in the NBA. Is it Doc Rivers?
It is Doc Rivers. You got it.
I knew it was a former Clippers. I thought it was either going to be Doc Rivers or Ty Lue, and I'm like, because they choked,
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I couldn't remember if Ty Lue or Doc Rivers was the coach that year. So,
yeah. Doc Rivers. He blew one in 2015 with the Clippers and 2020 with the Clippers in the bubble. Then he blew one like way long ago with the Magic when he was their head coach. That was when like they had T Mac and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, you got it. You already have exceeded your expectations, so that's pretty good. Um, Now you can see how many more you add to the total.
all right, all right. Do I get to keep my NBA YouTuber stamp?
Yes, you get to keep your stamp. Only the
All
people
right,
that go scoreless lose their stamp. Uh,
all right.
but
That's a
okay,
deal.
so the third question, the first hint is this is a current NBA player that has a dream job to be a high school teacher when he retires.
Oh, that's definitely Taco Fall.
Are you guessing Taco here for the 5 point?
I don't want to, but I feel like that's such a Taco Fall thing. Um, but no, it's not Taco because I remember watching a doc or like he was talking about it. And he said he wanted to be a college professor. Man, I'm gonna use one of my guesses. I'm gonna say Taco Fall.
Is not Taco Fall. Um,
Okay.
so that's strike number one. I actually didn't know that personally, so that was probably a pretty good guess. So the second hint, chance of 4 points. His father and his brother have both played in the NBA,
Brother and his brother.
and this guy's a current player.
He's a current player. So when I think of father and brother, I think of the Currys. But like that's the most basic, when you think of father and
That's
brother.
you're around there. It's not a bad
But then
thing.
you also think of Clay Thompson. That family's wild. They're like the Warriors, that's wild, all right? They have too many people. Um,
What
so
are we thinking?
those are the only two that I can think of like off the top of my head. Like the only two.
You do have two skips
Um,
available left if you want to use one to be safe, but you could
yeah, let's
go big
skip.
or go
Let's
home.
skip. Let's skip.
Okay. So the third hint is chance of 3 points. His college jersey was retired by Washington State in 2020.
Dog, who plays for Washington State? Bro, you okay, if you're highly touted, why do you commit to Washington State? Okay. Was he highly touted coming out of high school?
Coming out of high school,
Yeah.
not quite. At least, like, I wouldn't say so. He wasn't like that guy that was like all like across the nation, like number one, number two recruit or something. I'll say
So
that.
that's why he went there. Okay. Actually, I don't know if that's why he went there, but that's my best guess. Okay. So I think of the Martin twins, but I don't know if their dad played in the NBA. So
And that's tough because it's like they're both. You could guess one brother, well, I guess the other.
exactly, you could guess. Well, yeah, exactly. And then yeah, I could guess Caleb, and then it's wrong. And then the next time uh,
Yeah, that's
uh,
tough.
yeah, I don't know.
You do have another skip available if you want to use it, or you could try
No,
and
let's
guess.
skip it. Let's
Okay,
skip it. I want to keep my guesses.
okay. So the fourth hint is He has started every game of his NBA career, regular season and playoffs, since March 13th, 2012. Now these are the games that like he's played in, of course.
Wardell Stephen Curry.
It is not Steph Curry. Um,
I,
that's
okay.
strike number two, but I think you might get it after this last one
All right.
because that was a close guess. This guy once scored 60 points in 11 dribbles.
I hate everything, and I literally want to because that's Klay Thompson, bro.
It is Klay Thompson. Um, I thought you were gonna get it after the 4 pointer. I'm like, yo, that would have been
Dude, no.
impressive.
I was like, bro, it's Klay Thompson. It for sure Klay Thompson. But I didn't want to guess it because I'm like, I want to keep my guesses. And then,
And and
uh,
sometimes like I don't know, like I feel like the people watching this probably don't realize it from my perspective, but it's like sometimes it's hard for me to like not spoil something because I'm like, oh, you're in the right ballpark with the Curry one, and then you say Klay Thompson, I'm like, I don't know what to say now because it's like I can't be like, oh, you're doing good because it like gives it away, you know what I mean?
right.
Um,
No, but when you're like, because you're doing pretty good though, because you're like, I don't know. And then that made me think that it wasn't Klay. But then I'm like, he might be tricking me, so it probably is Klay. And then I'm like, and then I was all screwed up.
yeah, I try my best to trick people a little bit, but I don't. I always feel bad too, like if they end up not getting it at the end.
At
Um,
least I got it.
you did get it. So right now you got 2 points total on the board. There's still two more questions, and then there's a question about me. So we'll see how you do. Here's the fourth question. First hint. Now this is a former NBA player
Okay.
who is one of 21 players to ever collect 10 steals in an NBA game.
Okay. I have a player in mind, but I have no idea if they've actually collected that many steals. All right. So let me skip. Let me skip.
Okay, I'll give you another hint too. Well, this isn't on there, but it was also on my birthday. So you know when my birthday is then.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't. You probably have told me, but I don't remember.
Okay. So here's the next hint. Change to 4 points. This guy was both drafted by and finished his NBA career with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
No shot. Hold on. That's a trick question because he could have been drafted and then played somewhere else and then came back and retired. And that's why I'm guessing Brandon Roy.
That's a pretty good guess. It is Brandon Roy. That's
Yes.
that's a true Timberwolves fan test right there. Um, But yeah, that's pretty good. And then the third hint is actually funny. It was his game against the Mavericks in 2011 where he led that big comeback, and I was just watching that earlier today. But yeah, but that's pretty good that you got that honestly, and that's a 4 pointer right there.
Let's go, bro.
So right
I
now
got what do I got? 6?
you got six right now. I always tell my guests try to get 10 by the end of it. Obviously not all of them have gotten it, but we'll see if you get another 4 pointer here. You got 10.
Hey, hear me out though. That Brandon Roy is one of my favorite players in NBA history, and I hate the entire franchise that is the Timberwolves because they traded him. Like
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And same thing with Ray Allen.
yeah, that's a tough one. But yeah, you did get it. Brandon Roy, also one of my favorite players ever, so I'm glad you got that. Let's go to the fifth question. First hint. Now this one is about an NBA team that was known at origin by the team name of the Larks.
Bro, who names these teams? Okay, repeat the question one more time.
So when this NBA team was like formed at origin, their
Yeah.
team name was known as the Larks.
Okay, so I wasn't tripping. You were right. You said Larks. Okay.
Yes.
Let me
Like,
skip. Let me skip.
okay. So the second hint, chance of 4 points here. Their mascot has been inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame. So they definitely have a solid mascot.
It's the 76ers.
Are you guessing Philly right here? Chance of 10 points
Yes.
with you. It is not Philadelphia, unfortunately.
Then
Uh,
I know who it is, bro.
well, I'm going to read you the third hint. you can get it with a chance of 3 points here. They are one of 4 current NBA teams to come from the ABA merger.
Is it the Phoenix Suns?
Are you guessing Phoenix here?
Yes.
No, it is not Phoenix.
Man, I don't know, bro. Those are the only 2 mascots that I know have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you another hint, chance here at 2 points. Although this team has made the conference finals 4 times in the NBA, they have never made the NBA finals, nor have they ever won an NBA championship. You do have another skip
Still.
available, I'll say, but
I'm not going to use that. Is it the Kings?
are you guessing Sacramento? Your final chance at points?
They've never won a championship. So wait, repeat the question. Was it they've never made the finals or they've never won the finals?
They've never made the finals, nor have they ever won a title, but they made the conference finals 4 times in the NBA.
I don't know if the Kings have ever made the finals. That's awful. I should know that. And I don't know if their mascot was in the Hall of Fame. So,
well, they
I don't know
definitely
about the Larks thing.
the Kings, they do at least have a mascot. I know some teams like the Lakers don't and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is at least that going for them.
How many? I've used 2 guesses. So if I guess again, I lost the question. Okay.
You do have another hint available though. You could skip and
Yeah.
try and get.
Let me skip.
Okay, so the last hint is this team only has 1 MVP in franchise history, and the player who won it for them is still actively playing in the NBA. So it was sometime recent.
Well, I mean, yeah, but yes. What if it's like a old as dirt player that's like, yeah, I won the MVP like back in 1950. All right. But
well, no.
okay.
Okay, so the player that won MVP
Yeah.
for this franchise, like, yeah, he's still playing in the NBA.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I think the longest ago one of active players was LeBron in 2009. So basically, he won it for this team sometime since 2009.
Um. Okay. I know my last about 8 years worth of MVPs.
Okay. And
And
now I will say too that they've one MVP like season in franchise history. So I'll give you an example. Like Michael Jordan, who won multiple with the Bulls,
yeah.
like it wouldn't count for the Bulls. Like I'll just say that. But yeah.
So okay, I'm trying to think of teams that have only had 1 MVP. I don't. No, okay. So that the whole description matches the Timberwolves perfectly, except for the 4-time conference championship thing. And I don't know about the mascot. I'm a Timberwolves fan. I have no idea. So it's not them, but they have 1 MVP. And it's not like the Lakers. It's not the Cavs. It's not. How many teams have never made the finals? That will literally break it down right there.
I'm not 100% sure on that off the top of my head. Probably I'd say somewhere around the ballpark of like 7 or 6 or so.
I was thinking like 5. Yeah. So that really narrows it down.
And they also came from the ABA, so
yeah, and then that narrows it down even more. And then also having only 1 MVP,
who's still playing too. Now he could be playing on a different team by now, but he's at least still in the NBA.
I'm just gonna go with a guess, and I'm probably wrong. Grizzlies.
It is not the Memphis Grizzlies. And that's tough because that's your third strike. The correct answer was actually last year's MVP, the team, Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is the Denver Nuggets. Was the correct answer.
That makes me unbelievably sad.
Yeah, that's tough. They probably, yeah, it's like weird though, cause like I feel like no one knows the part about the Larks, cause I don't know if they actually played a game with that team name. I think they created it, and then like the guy changed their name before they eventually played. So that's a tough one for sure, but that's why it's a 5 point hint. Um,
Exactly.
okay, so
And
right
then
now,
yeah.
oops, okay, right now you got 6 points. Now there's a bonus question here. This one has no hints. If you get the bonus question right, you'll end up with 11 points, so you'll get at least the goal of 10, and you'll be the first person to ever get a bonus question right on the show.
So do I get just one answer? Like, do I only get one attempt, or do I get three still?
You get one attempt.
Oh God. Okay.
This is why it's impossible level. Just a straight up question, and then you give me a straight up answer. Uh,
All right.
so here we go. So the question is, so on NBA 2K14,
Yes.
your friend Garrett here used to buy a lot of packs, but
Oh God.
which NBA player, now it could be past or present, did I spend over $100 just to pull in the game?
Okay. So NBA 2K14. That was the first 2K that I really started to get into 2K.
Well, then this might be up your
Um.
alley. Then this is like your stuff.
So I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I was in it 2K14, but I didn't really start to get into my team until 2K15.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if it was 2K14 or 15 that had that like amethyst Chris Paul that was like everywhere, so it's not him. Um can you give me, is there no hints? Like I could ask you is he was he an Onyx player? Like can I ask
Um.
that?
I mean, no, he
Like that
wasn't. He
type of
wasn't an
person.
Onyx player. I'll tell you that. That was also. I think that
Oh,
was 2K15 when they started adding those guys in there.
okay.
So this is kind of like in 2K14. I think a lot of them were like base cards, and then they had like some emeralds, some rubies, and stuff,
Yeah.
diamonds. But
Okay.
yeah,
It's not Zach Levine because his card wasn't until later that he got really good. Um, so
it could be anyone in the game of
anyone
2K14. Anyone in the game of 2K14. Yes, in my team at least.
who is good, man? I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
It was.
Um, okay, I'm gonna go with Chris Bosh.
That's a solid guess, but it is not Chris Bosh.
Who was it?
The correct answer now in 2K14, I don't know, like obviously you said you got more into it in 2K15, but they had a rule where it's like you had to collect every player in the collection before you got like the one player in the collection, and I kept pulling packs over and over again just to pull Avery Johnson, just so I can get David Robinson on the Spurs, and it was
So
so annoying. But go ahead.
who was the correct answer?
It was Avery Johnson because that's who I was trying to pull, over and over again. I couldn't get him. It was ridiculous. um,
So that okay, that's a genuinely impossible question.
it is impossible level. I did eventually get him after a long, long, very long time. Uh, and then I got David Robinson, and I didn't really use him that much because he was kind of underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. But
Here,
yeah, so that's my story about Avery Johnson, NBA 2K14. Hopefully you thought that was
here.
cool.
Let me ask you one quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Who did I try to pull back? You get 150 points for this.
150. Okay,
Like
I
you're breaking all the records.
this would be great because I've never gotten any points on my trivia show. But go ahead.
Who was the player that I tried to pull in NBA 2K? Uh, I think it was 2K20. And I'll give you a hint though. I will give you a hint.
All right.
Actually, I'll give you. I mean, and so I tried to pull him. I paid money for him. I eventually got him in a free pack that I got off of a locker code.
Ooh.
And I'll give you this. the locker code was for a pack and not the player, and it was part of a special set, so it wasn't like the base set.
Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking back a few years now. I feel like 2K20 is not as memorable for me as like 2K15 with the Onyx cards and 2K14 with like how they had every deck. Uh, but I know I'm trying to think of like the players that were cheese back then. I know like Kurilenko was pretty cheese, and I know Hito Turkoglu were pretty cheese in those games. Uh, I remember Devonte Graham was pretty nice. So was Buddy Hield. I'm trying to think of like who it could be, but I'm gonna throw out a guess, and I'm gonna say
Hold on.
okay, okay,
I would like to preface this. I also made an error. It was 2K21.
2K21. Well, that doesn't probably doesn't change much of what I was thinking because I'm still trying to think of like all the cheese players. Uh, and it was a pack. See, I've only ever pulled like one guy in like a specified locker code, and that was like a pink diamond Tim Duncan like 4 years ago. That was that good. So I'm gonna go with who I was thinking because I feel like this card would still be like OP, and I'm gonna say Antoine Jameson.
No, it was not Antoine Jameson.
Dang. Okay,
Bro,
who was it?
hold on. It was Michael Porter Jr.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. But was it like a
No,
diamond or something?
it was a Galaxy Opal, so 99.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
And
think I
it was
remember that too. They
it
dropped
was,
that like when they dropped the what was it like the Isaiah Thomas opal or something?
can't remember. It was like part of like the summer, like the surf set or whatever. I don't remember what it was called, but he was going for like a million MT at the time. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I might pull a few packs. And then like a week later, I type in a lock code, get a pack, open it up, and I get him.
but
And I'm
that's
like,
pretty
okay,
crazy. Uh,
yeah.
I think I pulled like an emerald. I don't know if you like on 2K14 that when LeBron had just signed back with Cleveland, they came out with those packs and they had like an emerald like King returns pack. And then like my first pull, I got the LeBron. That was probably like my
Oh
craziest
my.
pull like ever. Uh, but yeah, sadly, I still have 0 points on my own trivia game. I'm gonna be at the very bottom of the leaderboard. But
I'll give
nah,
you I'll give you I'll give you 1 point so you can keep your NBA YouTuber thing.
1 point. Let's go. Um, so I mean, 6 points. You didn't do too bad. Everyone's pretty close on the scale. I think the highest, like everyone's within maybe like 6 or 7 points. I have to check it again, but it's pretty close. I will say. I think like everyone's within like 20% of their score, like
Yeah.
around the same. So I think you did pretty good, even though like I know I said 10 was the goal. A lot of people don't get to 10, so that's okay. I think that it was a pretty good show, pretty good trivia segment, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. You got any final thoughts?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you letting me on the show. And this is probably 3 weeks in the work because I was supposed to be on it a while ago, but
Yeah,
things came up. But yeah, I appreciate you letting me on here. And go subscribe to my channel, JELSON.
yeah. I'll put
But
down below. Check description. Be sure to check him out. Go subscribe to his channel. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now, and I'm glad that we finally got to connect on here for an episode. Uh, but yeah, and if you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to me as well because why not? But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.